Hey yogis, welcome. Today we're going to go through a shorter practice focused on our hips. We'll be moving low to the ground, really finding some poses that will feel great to hang out in for a little while, as well as some flow. So grab your space, your mat, water towel if you need it, and let's get started down in child's pose. Okay. Let your knees come wide, set your hips back towards your heels, soak your forehead down into your yoga mat. Allow your body to come to rest. Breathe in deeply all the way until your belly's full and your rib cage starts to expand. Exhale deeply all the way out until you feel your torso, your belly, your ribs contract back in. Breathe in slowly, fill up all the way down into the very basin of your pelvis. Breathe out slowly and notice that drawing in right back to your center. One more time, inhale. Breathe until you're almost uncomfortably full of breath. And exhale, send it all the way out. Lift into tabletop, inhale. Then exhale, downward facing dog, and pedal out your legs nice and slow. Take some time to press through one heel and then the other. And then bend into your right knee and press your left heel low. It doesn't have to touch your yoga mat. And stay strong in your hands so you're supported, your belly's drawn in, front ribs draw in, so everything from the top half of you feels grounded and anchored. It'll give your legs and hips the freedom to really find depth and sensation in the pose. Then switch sides, left knee bends, right heel presses low. Again, touching the ground is not a goal. Instead, move into the heat in the back of your legs. Then lift both heels high up like you're wearing stiletto shoes. Stay grounded in your palms, neck stays long and free. And then swivel both of your heels to the right and continue to push back through your left hand all the way to your left hip. So you're going to feel this in your side body. Good. Swivel up through the center. And this time both heels go to the left. You're going to feel that same deep stretch all the way through the right side body. Then lift your heels up high and together press them low. Your next inhale, soften your knees, push forward to plank pose. Feel the back of your heart lift. Skull lifts up in line with your upper back. Then touch your knees down, lower all the way to your belly. One time, take a little baby cobra, lift middle back, upper back, then your neck gets long. Exhale back to child's pose. Swim your hips back towards your heels, anchor your forehead. Let your breath spill out in open mouth. Inhale, rise up. Then cross your ankles behind you. On your exhale, sit back. Let your legs come out in front. Dock your heels, extend your arms forward, and find a supported boat pose. Lift your chest up through the frame of your shoulders. And then start to drag your heels in towards your glutes until they lift off. From your arches to your inner thighs, engage in and up. Lift your chest up, boat pose. Good. You can always take your hands behind your thighs. Take a full breath in here. Exhale to low boat. Extend your legs, activate your feet. Reach your arms towards your toes. Draw your belly button down and continue to broaden through your chest. Take a full breath in here. Full breath out. Inhale, high boat, lift up. And plant your feet, circle your hands behind you. Come into altar pose or reverse table. Lift your hips, lift your belly button, lift your chest, then lift your chin and your gaze. So you can feel that wave, starting from your tailbone all the way up through your spine, so your neck travels in the same line as your spine and unfurls from bottom to top. One more full breath in, this time through an open mouth. Set your hips back down. Inhale to boat pose with your heels docked, arms extend out. And exhale, cross your ankles, pull them underneath you, come back to tabletop, and press back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And step your feet together at the back edge of your mat. From the inseam of your leg, lift your right heel all the way up. Stay active from groin to toes. And then circle open your hip, bend your knee so your heel gets close to your glute. Notice if your right hand was getting light on the mat. Instead, press it down so you can feel your chest level and continue to lift your right knee high. Take a couple circles with your knee into your chest and back out. Find some space and movement in your hip. Imagine you're drawing circles on the side of the room. And then switch the direction. Good. Then send your right leg up high. Exhale, step through a low lunge. Anchor your left hand down the circle, your right arm up. Strengthen your right leg behind you as you draw your chest forward like the plank. And then twist from your belly button, shoulder blades seals onto your back, nose turns under your thumb. Take another breath in. Exhale, touch down, let your left knee touch the earth as well. Inhale to Anjaneyasana, your kneeling crescent. And keep your back toes tucked for now so you can really anchor and push into the mat. Lift up from there. Draw your shoulder blades wide to your outer armpits. Lift your chest through the frame of your arms. Take another breath in. Exhale, touch down. Now shift back into half splits. Untuck your toes, press your back shin into the yoga mat. Hop your right heel forward and then pull your toes to your nose. Your inhale, feel your chest move towards the top of your foot. On your exhale, let the crease come from your hips. Now, retuck your back toes, push yourself forward to a low lunge. Hands can stay on the ground to support you. Connect your back heel down and rise on up to a warrior one. Think of a heel to heel alignment so that the front heel line would intersect with your back heel. Then turn your ribs and your armpits forward. Lift your chest up as you deepen into your front knee. Take a full breath in here. And your exhale, circle your hands behind you. Drag your knuckles away from the back of your heart as you loop your shoulder heads back, gaze up. Then exhale into humble warrior. Drop your ribs to the inside of your right thigh and start to drag your right hip back. Pull your left foot towards the center line of the mat to level your hips. Let your head follow the line of your spine as you push your knuckles away from the back of your skull. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, release your fingertips down. Find the ground, flip your back heel up. Inhale all the way up and back to three-leg down dog. Push your right leg towards the ceiling. Exhale to downward facing dog. Soften both knees, rock forward, push the ground away into plank pose. Feel the back of your heart lift and your neck lengthens. Exhale all the way down to your belly. Circle your hands off the mat, come to your fingertips. Click your toenails down, lift to spider cobra, peel up, gentle pressure on your fingers for just support. Then exhale, dip and turn your left shoulder towards the yoga mat, left ear goes heavy. Inhale, rise up through the center. Exhale, turn other side, right shoulder dips, right ear's heavy. Inhale, lift up through the center, feel that big, juicy cobra. Exhale, child's pose, touch down and swing your hips back to your heels. Rest your forehead. Take a full, deep, lung-filling breath. You can feel your back line expand. Total empty out. Inhale up to tabletop. Fill the well of your lungs with air. Exhale, downward facing dog. Peel your hips up first. Heart and head follow. Step your feet together. Inhale your left heel high and up. Feel it come up to the ceiling through the inseam of your legs. You can feel that internal rotation to start. You can feel your hips level. Then intentionally open your hips, bend your left knee so your heel gets close to your right glute. Notice if you're starting to shift all your weight into your right hand and your left hand's getting light. Instead, press it down and forward. Lift your left knee up. Send the top of your right thigh bone back. From there, start to churn and open your left hip, drawing circles with your knee. Ground into your hands enough that your hips have freedom to move and lift. Then switch the direction of your churn. Good. Inhale to level your hips and lift your left heel high. And then exhale, step through to lunge. Soak your right hand down as you strengthen your right leg long. Peel your left lung and your left arm up to the ceiling for a low lunge twist. From your heel to your heart, grow a long, strong line of energy. Then let your spiral happen from diaphragm, heart center, and then your nose turns under your thumb. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale to touch down. Place your right knee down. Kneeling crescent, Anjaneyasana. Root down through your back leg and your front heel. Lift up through the center line of body. Let your arms come to frame your ears. Stay soft in the base of your neck. And lift your chest up. Take a full breath in. Exhale, touch down, shift back to half splits. Untuck your back toes to press your shin down. Flex your front toes up to your nose as you hop your heel forward. Draw your chest through towards the top of your foot and then crease at your hips bow. And take a few breaths and breathe into the heat of your left hamstring. Continue to tap your left baby toe back up to your outer left hip toe level. Good. Stay low to the ground. You can use your hands. Crawl forward to your low lunge. Then spiral your back heel down. Rise up, warrior one. Lift your torso up over the basin of your pelvis. Turn your ribs and your armpits forward and lift your chest through. Feel that unshakable groundedness in your legs to trust them. From there, you can grow this tall spine. Right, so we really anchor down, not to bury ourselves in, but to find a firm foundation from there. Instead of sagging, we lift, we rise. Full breath in. And then hands behind your back, put the weird thumb on top, the one that feels like you're holding hands with a stranger. Drive your knuckles to your back heel, chest moves through the frame of your shoulders, and then bow, humble warrior. Ribs come to the inside edge of your left thigh and start to tap your left hip back as you drop your head. Feel your inner right thigh roll back, internal rotation of your back leg, outer left hip hugs back, chest moves down. Actively press your knuckles away from the back of your skull, relax your jaw, and unclick your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release your fingers down, find ground with your palms, flip your back heel up. Come to three-leg down dog. Send your left foot back up to the ceiling. Exhale, downward facing dog, feet touch the earth. Soft knees to give you a little spring, rock forward, plank pose, unfurl till your neck is long, then slow lower all the way to your belly. This time, cobra pose with your hands to support all the way into a full high cobra lift. Exhale, wave back down, push back, child's pose. Take a deep, full breath all the way down into the basin of your pelvis. Big, open, wide exhale. Inhale, tabletop rise. Again, cross your ankles behind you. Then sit back, pop your legs out in front. Inhale, sweep your arms up tall to an extended staff pose. Exhale, spill forward, bow from your hip hinge. Inhale to lengthen your chest once again. Knees can bend any amount is fine. And exhale, spill. Feel every inhale inflate your back body, your back ribs. Every exhale, press your thigh bones down. Move your chest towards your feet. Ride your breath wave back up. Inhale, sit up tall, staff pose. Draw the soles of your feet in towards one another. Lift up from your sit bones. Extend your arms up overhead. Exhale, Baddha Konasana, fold, bow, round angle. Walk your hands forward. Move from your hip crease to your heart and lengthen. Refold on exhale. Two more times like that. Lengthen on inhale, get full. Exhale, soften, bow. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Ride the breath wave up. Inhale, sit up tall. Unwind your feet to stand. Root your hands behind you, then breathe up. All the way into altar pose, reverse tabletop. Open up your lips, send your breath out. One more time, inhale. Set your hips back down. Sit up really tall in staff pose, extend your arms up overhead. Then cross your left foot over just to the outside of your right knee. Pivot towards the inseam of your left thigh, and then hook your elbow into a seated twist. So for a lot of us, hooking our elbow causes tension up in the neck and in the shoulders. So if that's the case, don't worry, just do a little hug, right? Backhand becomes the second spine. Root it as you inhale to lift your chest through, and then rotate, belly button turns towards your inner thigh, chest turns, gaze turns. Good. One more time. Inhale, unwind back at center. Then bend bottom knee in. So for a lot of us, placing our knees down on top of one another in Gomukhasana legs, and I'll turn so you can see. So for a lot of us, our knee stays up, and this is just plenty right here. So if you're already feeling sensation in your outer hips, stay. No need to push it further. If your knees do slide next to one another and you're on the ground, you don't need block support here, it may feel good to fold. Move your chest towards your kneecap, lengthen your neck, and then fold on exhale. Walk yourself back up. On your inhale, reach up. On exhale, turn to your right, plant your hands down, lift your sit bones. You're going to spin into this little wide leg fold, and then bend your knees, continue walking all the way back around, Gandalkasana, other side. And again, if your knee ends up being a little higher or you need a lift on your block, that's fine. And there's also no need to deepen it and bow. On the other hand, if your knees are together, there's not a lot of sensation in your outer hips yet, it may feel sweet to fold. Use your inhale to anchor your sit bones and lengthen your heart. Use your exhale to fold and crease at your hip hinge. Walk yourself back. Inhale, ride the breath wave up, extend your arms up overhead. Exhale, turn to the left this time, plant your hands. Lift your seat up, spin into this fold, then continue, soften your knees, land all the way back down just for a moment. Then unwind your feet, now scoot back sideways. Lift up into altar pose, last time, hips up, heart up, gaze up. Exhale through the open mouth. Ha. 2 more times. Breathe in. This time, tongue out. Good. Hips down. Slow lower all the way to your back. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Then slide your hands up either to your ankles or your feet. Happy baby pose. Draw your knees down. Excuse me. As you press your feet up. The opposition of your knees hugging down and your feet pressing up, or another way to think of that is pulling with your arms and pressing with your feet, creates a deeper stretch in your hip. Because we're moving in 2 directions, right? So we're creating a stretch response that gives us a little more space. However, if we're pulling so hard that it comes into a sensation that's pinching or sharp or something that causes you to hold your breath, ease off a little bit and allow gravity to do most of this work. From here, keep your hand attached to your right foot. Plant your left foot down. And this might be enough right here. If you want to take it a little further, open your knee out into basically a tree leg. So you're in half Supta Baddha Konasana, half bound angle, and then half happy baby on the other side. Feel gravity send your 2 knees in opposite directions. Good. Gently draw your left foot back in, switch sides. Right foot plants down. And for a lot of us, this is plenty. No need to move any further. If you need a little extra, open your right knee out into a tree leg. So we have half bound angle on the left, happy baby on the right. Good. Right foot comes back in. This time extend the left leg long. Plant your right foot down and then tuck Your right foot up underneath you like you're doing a reverse tree or a tree where your foot's behind the leg. Extend your right arm out and feel from your right knee all the way up the right side body an opening. It doesn't have to be super sensational. It can just be space. Good. Plant the right foot down, right arm comes down. Switch left foot underneath. Tuck your heel close up by your right sit bone and then extend your right leg long. Reach your left arm up overhead. Again, for some of us, this will be a very sensational posture, and for others, this is more mild. There's no need to force or push to a lot of sensation. Good. Unwind both feet. Stamp them a little wider than hips width distance. Drop both of your knees to the right. Reach down, and maybe you just touch your left heel. If your left heel is close enough for you to grab, tuck your left heel up towards your tush. And feel your hips drop, knee drop. And this, especially if you're like me, you have a bendy back, right? You might pop up off the ground a little bit, and that might be natural for you, or it may be because you have some tightness in your hip flexors. So notice if there's a pulling in your low back, or if it feels really sore or stiff in your low back, then it may be an indication not to tuck your heel up so high. But if you're feeling all right like this, you should move into a pretty apparent stretch in your quad and in your hip flexor. Good. Gentle unwind, shift your knees back towards the ceiling, and then drop both of them now to the left. And sometimes just having space between your knees, just dropping them over, is plenty. So you can reach your right hand down and just touch your heel. If you're one of my flexi bendies and you need a tuck, tuck your right heel up towards your hip, but be sweet to your knee. So if your knee is saying, hey, it's a little too much, let your knee whisper to you. Don't force your knee to yell at you. We all have a different end range, right? And when we're thinking about flexibility, we're really talking about range of motion. So we don't want to go beyond our natural range of motion. That's not ideal. So the best way is to tap into the deep listening of body. Listen to the whispers that our body offers. Listen to the sensation, greet it, meet it, and then notice if you're being able to breathe through it, or if you're pushing for a new edge that maybe your body's not ready for, right? So really respecting our range of motion instead of trying to push ourselves to something that's not necessarily accessible today is a great way to practice yoga, the deep listening of yoga, honoring where we're at today instead of striving for something that we might think is important but really isn't that important. Untuck your feet. Just press your belly button down into your yoga mat and allow your back to be flat for a moment. And then draw your knees up into your chest. Pull your forehead up to meet your knees. Take a full breath in. And then relax out into Shavasana. Extend your legs out wide. Let your shoulder blades come underneath so you have an open chest. Turn your palms up. And invite yourself to absorb some stillness, some quiet time, some rest. If you have a couple minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, spend it in Shavasana, or throw your legs at the wall and be in a pose that's an inversion. And I invite you to take as much time as you can in Shavasana. If you are in a rush, know that Shavasana is a pose you can take any time of day. You can return right back into the ground, find that sense of feeling grounded, rooted, and truly unshakable. And then use that nourishment, that reminder of your strength and your stability as fuel and as encouragement and as motivation for the rest of your day, maybe even the rest of your week. So you do need to move on. Let your fingers and toes move. Rock your head side to side. Hug your knees into your chest and roll onto your side. Push yourself up gently and find a seat. Draw your hands to your heart. Take in a deep breath that fills you up from your root all the way to your crown. And an exhale that lets you empty, lets go of anything you don't need, helps you return right back to your center. Thumb knuckles can come up to mind's eye. Bow forward to seal your practice. Namaste. So thank you for tuning in to this little short hip-focused flow. I hope it helps you feel grounded, rooted, as well as open and flexible, movable, pliable, and ready for anything in your hips. And remember, if you can roll out a mat, you can practice everywhere. And I truly believe that yoga is something you can take with you anywhere. So come see me as soon as you can, and have an awesome day. Mwah. Love ya.